Hello everyone, welcome to the third channel. Today we're filming a video that's slightly different. So what we're going to do, so I didn't realise my camera has been in my college bag all week. It's Friday. And I've only just realised the camera's dead. But I need to get this video out quickly. I need to film it quickly. Like my thoughts. I could probably do a more in-depth section when we get my camera working. So I just want to just ramble on for a few minutes. And then I'll talk about my final thoughts and a little bit more about it. So today we're reviewing Ghosts Series 4. This section of the video, in the poor audio quality, the poor video quality section, I have managed to get it standing on my tripod. We are going to be talking about why am I talking about ghosts this early? Well, now you're probably watching this at 9:30 PM. That's when I've set it to upload. But I'm recording this about 2:15-ish. So what happened was, this morning, Ghost Series 4 got released onto the iPlayer. Whether or not that's accidental or not, it still happened. Right? So it still happened. The way that it's still happening meant that we had more ghosts out, but it upset many people. A few people. They were upset with it because it shouldn't have released yet, and I agree. They should have had the first episode, then release it. Or just not release it all and have it weekly. That would have been perfectly fine as well. So this review will have spoilers in it, because like I can do with all my Ghost reviews, I see the series, then review it afterwards, because then I remember it very, very rightfully. So I've only just finished the final episode, and I've come upstairs to film the final video. And so we're going to talk about it today. So they're doing a Ghosts podcast as well. So later on today, after the first episode has come out, Inside Ghosts will be released. That's basically this Inside number 9, which then they changed once into number 9 and finished that series to change it to Inside Outlaws. Did about 3 episodes of that and then went, no, we don't do that anymore. And then did Inside Ghosts, which they're interviewing the cast. I've not seen that, heard it yet, so I don't know whether that's good or not. I can't really comment on it, but we are commenting on the fact that people were angry about it, people were happy about Ghost Series 4, but this is going to be the spoiler-free part whilst waiting for the camera to get some charge in it. Not fully charged, but some charge, because we don't want to get you all waiting. So, my thoughts was, I loved it. I really enjoyed Series 4. Certain episodes where I had heard that one episode was sad, but that one episode I thought was one of the best, and sort of a little bit odd as well, sort of like missed the mark a little bit. Certain elements, I wish certain things had gone on longer, but we'll get on to that when we talk about our review. The series got 6 episodes, and from what we saw in the trailer, we know that the whole premise of the show, getting a hotel and B&B type thing, is going to happen in this series. And boy, did it happen. But it didn't happen as often as I would have liked. We'll talk about the final episode in detail when we get to the camera part, when we talk about the episode individually. So we'll go episode 1, 2, 3. But we'll go, here's my thoughts on episode 1. Here's my favourite episode of the series. Here's my thoughts on the whole series. Just sort of like pick and choose where I want to talk about bits and bobs. So I don't spoil it entirely for you guys that haven't seen it, but it means that when this is uploaded at 9:30, which is like half an hour later from when it's airing, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna sit with 9:30. It means that you can watch the review if you don't see every episode and you're not really getting much spoilers. I also just want to improve my reviews, and I want to save some important discussion points for the pilot episode of my Ghost podcast, Never Bored with a Cheese Board. That is going to be part of I Have an Idea, episode 2, which will air this weekend, where we'll talk about certain elements in the series that should have been developed more, or my thoughts on how is the series going to move on to Series 5. So we're going to talk about thoughts on how they're going to do Series 5, now that they have the ending, and what's going to be next for Ghosts, and whether or not we'll ever see a crossover episode where Alison and Mike meet up with the US people and whether or not we have an episode where the US ghosts meet the UK ghosts. I don't know how that would happen, but theoretically we could sort something out like that. I don't know, but that will all be discussed on the podcast. But for now, we're just going to be talking about my episodes. So my overall thoughts of all 6 episodes, I absolutely loved it. Each episode individually was its own amazing episode. But I think the best episodes were episode 4, episode 1, 4 and 6. I'm doing actions just so, because the quality and the sound look great. I rather just entertain the visual to make sure that you get the best out of the poor quality as possible. So episode 1, 4 and 6 are the best episodes in the series. I think it's episode 3 is also amazing because Bridget Christie's in that one again. She's the main focus of that episode, which I'll explain why that makes no sense in a way. But we'll also talk about Robin's realisation, because Robin has a realisation in episode 4 that works really well. But go on, enjoy some good quality footage of me, which we know about Ghosts, Series 4. Good audio quality and good visual quality. Woo! And we're ready to talk spoilers. So if you've not seen the series, turn the video off now and come back later. So, I'll tell you what time it is now. Now that I've got my phone back in action, we'll tell you. Sorry about the bad audio quality. I mean the visual, looking at it now, the visual quality is quite good, but the audio quality is rubbish. Sorry if this ever does a because I am trying to fix that. Anyway, we're going to Witter. So, the time is 4:27, and the last clip was 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So 6 minutes and 20 seconds earlier, I just finished watching Ghosts Series 4. So let me just get ready to airdrop that to me phone. So what we'll do is I'll read off the episode titles and we'll go from there, because I feel like I need to improve my reviews. The camera's about to die, so we'll be back once the camera has had more charge. Hello, it's Tom waiting for his phone, his camera to charge because it was about to die there. I'm so sorry this video is all topsy-turvy. But hopefully you're enjoying it so far. My review of Series 4 is coming in the next clip. I won't be talking about the titles anymore, because I feel like I need to just get on with it, because the camera might die again. So I'm just going to leave it a few minutes. I don't want the camera to die again. Right, so we've got to get to the basis of this, because the camera might die, if you remember from all the other clips in this video. Mental, this video. Mad. I don't know why I said the word mental. Anyway, so, Ghosts Series 4. Spoiler warning, 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 and spoiler warning. You've had 10 spoiler warnings. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning! Don't watch if you've not seen Ghosts Series 4. Right, so, if you've not seen Ghosts Series 4, leave now. Episode 1. Review, episode 1 please, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Episode 1. Episode 1 is called Happy Holidays. Now, episode 1 just sets out the scene for the whole series. So we have Alison and Mike setting up the B&B. Did that go well? Not really. The couple that moved there, one of them, famous actress that's now in Bake Off the Musical, The Great British Bake Off the Musical. She was in Million Between. She was in Casualty or Homie, I'm not too sure. But she's a very famous British actress, appeared in it as a non-speaking role. She played the wife of her husband. They've come to stay at Button House, not in the main house, but in the guest house. For the episode, he's pumping up his tyre for his bike. They go and try and see if the guests like them and break it up. So, there we go. We have our standard house of the characters. They're all they're all scared, like they were in episode 1 of series 1 when Mike and Alison arrived. They were frightened, didn't know what was going on. It was the same, but it was mainly Lady. I'm going to call her Lady Button because in the last review I called her a character name, and I feel like I want to make her more family friendly, so call her Lady Button. We'll keep it family friendly. So, Lady Button was the panicked one. She was very panicked during this episode. So, what does this mean? This means that the series was going to have a new guest stars each week, which was actually not the case. Episode 2, I'm giving a brief review of it, really, so the camera doesn't die. Episode 2 was a little bit not as impressive. Well, I'll tell you, let me just remember the title name, because I don't want to forget. Because I feel like episode 1, 4 and 6 were the best episodes. I don't know what's the next step. So, what is it? Ghosts. I've forgotten that. Right, so episode 2, let's remember the name of episode 2, right after this short break. Hello, I know this video's all over the shop with audio quality and sound quality, but the camera needs charge, so I'm just going to talk about episode 2 in here, because I want to get this video out, and I need to keep it in my brain and not forget, so I need to record the video in any way possible. So, episode 2, we learn about the captain trying to not live in the moment because he's ghosty and live for eternity. So him and Kitty learn to live in the moment. We have Robin being with Alison because Alison has been neglecting Robin, and we just have the usual antics. Episode 3, we got to meet Bridget Christie's character again. Fantastic character. We got to learn her backstory. You're probably wondering, Tom, why would you want to learn about Bridget Christie's character backstory? My toenail keeps sticking to my sock. Why would we want to learn about Bridget Christie's backstory? Well, we haven't really heard anything about some of the others. But she's not even in the main cast. She's not even in the house anymore. Well, what's the possible need for that? Well, I'll tell you. The possible need for that is, here we go. So in the episode, we see that when she dies, Mary, yes, Mary, we'll get on to her in episode 4. Mary is hiding and becomes really good friends with Bridget Christie's character, Annie, I think her name was. And Mary develops as a character, and Mary learns to call people names, because she's dead and she can't have any consequences. So she calls them names and she be horrible to these people. She learns over the time with Annie's character. And as the episode goes on, we learn more about them, and they become really good friends. And then she moves on, does Annie. And Annie is no longer, which sort of might foreshadow what's to come. In episode 4, see, I've warned you already that there's spoilers ahead, but episode 4 is the worst spoilers ever. If you get spoiled episode 4 before even watching the show, I feel so sorry for you. There is no articles normally when an actor leaves a popular series. They sort of do an announcement. So Chortle normally says something, Radio Times always says something, where the DCI from Shetland, the main DCI, spoiler warning for Shetland if you've not seen Shetland series 7. Spoiler warning, 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 spoiler warning. When he left Shetland, the actor left Shetland, they did a Radio Times article about it. And when Katie Wicks left Ghosts, nothing of the sort. Might because they want to keep it a surprise. Because Mary. Now, episode 4 was a very good episode. In a sense, it was one of the best episodes of the series. But it also was a little bit disappointing all at the same time. Let's get over with the disappointment first. Now, I loved the episode in a sense of the way they dealt with Mary moving on and how much they loved Mary. And it's a swan song to Katie Wicks. Now, I don't think Katie Wicks is actually leaving the show, per se. I didn't she like that. I think she's just leaving Mary and going to become a plague ghost. Just because a lot of the characters play multiple characters, so multiple actors play multiple characters in the show. So I'm assuming Katie Wix is going to focus herself as a plague ghost. They came back this series, which was a plus. They came back. Woo! Yeah, well, welcome back, plague ghosts. So anyway, so when she moves on, it was in the first series, right? There's an episode where the headlights come on. I'm sure I'm sort of showing an action. The headlights come on, and they see a massive white light, and they're all like, "Oh, we're gonna go!" Oh! And it was a car. But in this series, when Annie left in episode 3, she just vanished upwards, and when Mary left, it was over and done with within 3 frames, I think. It was a very, very, very short amount of time. But I don't know if Katie Wix was filming other things, because she was voiced the character in Don't Hunt Me Upstairs, which came out today on channel on All 4, which I'm currently on episode 2 of that. Let me just put something before it falls off on my desk. Anyway, so Mary being gone from the series is made me go, "Oh, no, Mary! Why?" And I got a little bit annoyed, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But it meant that they had to then try and subduce and add another character. Because Mary, leaving in episode 4, and to be fair, her ending, the final episode of that, the final moment of that episode where they give a minute silence and you can hear the Superman, "Comb your hair, swim, ride a bike, ski," that song. When that was playing, that comically worked really well with having them saying goodbye to Mary, and you learn how each individual ghost deals with grief. Robin's grief dealing is the best one ever because he's a caveman. He's the oldest surviving ghost. So him dealing with the grief by naming the stars after the people that lived there is fan-dabby-dozy. It's fan-dabby-dozy. That's a Crankies reference there. Anyway, that is the greatest thing ever. Because then you have Mary now as a star. And it just is a nice ending. If anyone wants to clip anything from this show, it's that bit they need. We need clips of that. And that can be circled around once that episode has aired in 4 weeks' time. 3 weeks' time, actually. Anyway, so that was the greatest episode ever. So then when episode 5 came along, and they met this other ghost that just lives over the fence, I thought, is that a Mary replacement? It wasn't. That was just a ghost that Robin knew for a very long time, and Robin was very much friends with. And all these ghosts tried to become friends with them, and they learned what friendship means to them. And we learned that there's a new ghost. We didn't get to see any of the gruesome bits of like the bone hanging out the leg and all that. We just heard the noises when Kitty was getting really excited. And we learned a little bit more about the backstory of death in this series. Wasn't a lot, but it was mainly about Mary. The whole series was sort of centered around Mary a little bit, I think, because we had episode 3 with Mary and Annie, and then we had episode 4 with Mary being passed on, sent away, gone to heaven, that type of thing. And then we had the final 2 episodes all about we had, I think it was episode 5 that was about the B&B as well. In episode 5, as well as having the whole this new ghost there, we also had Next Door Neighbour return to talk about planning permission and about the B&B. They had some people coming to stay in the B&B, and during this series they've been trying to get 5 stars, which they got 4.5, I think, was the star number they got up to. And you properly learn more about the B&B side of things. And they had an argument over it, and he ended up dumping asbestos on the ground, and obviously they got their B&B back, right? So the B&B bit was in episode 1, episode 5, and episode 6. Now, with episode 6, we had the B&B mentioned heavily in episode 6, because it was all about is the B&B worth it? Because in episode 5 they bought a massive live chess set. They bought one of those things where you play football and you bounce on them, that type of thing. But we're going to talk about episode 6 now. Over on the high quality camera and the high quality audio. We've been on this camera for 9 minutes. Let's see if that works. So, to end off this review with high quality sound and high quality audio, I'm going to talk about episode 6. Now, episode 6 was back again about the B&B. 3 episodes were heavily focused on the B&B. Episode 4, as well as having about Mary's death, we also had a party going on that Mike got confused with an 86-year-old, where it was an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old that had names that you wouldn't see young people having anymore, which is a sad thing, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So, what we had in this episode, in episode 6, was we had the B&B being a sort of focus, but soft note. It started off with a fire, and I thought, are they recreating an episode of the US version? My review on Ghost US will be coming very shortly. I am reviewing each episode individually on my notes so I can make a comprehensive review. Anyway, back to episode 6. So, we had all that going on, and you learnt that the whole episode was centered around where is the fire. So we had this bear winning auctions. We had fire coming from the painting of Humphrey, the fire from the basement, and then finally, lightning struck and set the guest house on fire. Now, when the lightning struck, what made me really intrigued about the lightning striking was that Mike, for a brief moment, saw the outline of Robin. Because Robin, if you all remember, has the light powers. So him trying to fix the lightning, it made sure that Mike could see like an outline of what Robin looks like, which might never actually explain that to Alison, but maybe that could be a series 5 thing. We also had the backstory of Robin being scared of bears, which I didn't think there was many bears in Britain, but during the caveman era, I think there must have been a lot of bears. There must have been. I don't know. Anyway, so I think this series, overall, was fantastic. I loved it from start till finish. This is my in-depth review of the series, and it's airing at 9 p.m, half 9 or 10 o'clock. I've now thought about probably doing it at 10 o'clock a little bit, because it starts at 8:50, so I think I might stick at 10 p.m. But I've enjoyed this series. I'm excited for the podcast, which I will be listening to weekly. I'll probably do a whole Ghost podcast review once the whole of the podcast is out. I'm heavily excited for more episodes. Hopefully series 5 goes in a new direction now that the B&B isn't going to happen anymore, because it went up in flames and they just gave up with it. Because they tried to have a spa day earlier on in the series and that didn't work either, because like the ghost had upset Alison, and she tried to relax and nothing was going right. So not having the B&B there will make her less stressed, as he was saying in the episode. So I think it will have more of the who ghosts, her reacting to the ghost a little bit more rather than her panicking about the B&B. So there we have it. That's my in-depth review. So we did some of it on this camera and a lot of it on my phone. I'm going to off and edit this now so we can find it. Sorry about the poor audio quality and the visual quality throughout this video, because it was a bit choppy changing from my phone to here. But I wanted to get my thoughts out there really. I'm going to just screech my phone. I want to get my thoughts out there really quickly whilst I still remembered them so I didn't forget. My final thoughts is the series was amazing. My favourite episodes were 1, 4 and 6. Episode 1, Episode 4 and Episode 6. When you watch the series you'll understand why. I absolutely love it. Was it a mistake for the BBC to put all episodes on this early? Probably, but nonetheless I really enjoyed it. Now I'm off to go and edit this review and then watch episodes 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 of the old 4 show. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, based on the YouTube versions, basically the same cast, same thing. But yeah, I'll review that at some point. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and remember, Never bored with a cheese board. But an FM. I'm trying to think of a good ending to make it ghost related. Ooh! By the way, my next ghost videos might be slightly different. I'm going to do more ghost videos separately. They might be slightly different. Stay tuned. Woo! Did I turn the microphone on? Who knows? Bye!